So after months of research, I found the Pro-ject Carbon turntable, and this was the one that I kind of met all my criteria. I gotta admit, I'm a little intimidated by this purchase because it's a technical side of record collecting that I haven't quite mastered, but here I am buying a fancy turntable. I never thought I would get here. Okay, so it looks like I have the cables that is needed to connect to the speakers. Okay, so this is the glass case. One thing I was worried about when looking for a turntable is the longevity of it. I have little kids, so I kind of thought what would be the most durable type of turntable that wasn't delicate looking. So it's great this came with a cover. It's not as scary as I thought. Okay, so here it is. All right, here we go. Looks nice. So the Pro-ject line actually has several different colors, and I debated between green, blue, matted black, and black. When it came to this model, they only had a few available in different colors, white, glossy black, and I think wood. Now, I knew my setup was gonna be wood, so I wasn't gonna get wood. And well, classic glossy black was the color. Basically on a manual turntable, and here, this is where the rubber band is from the speed. The bottom one is 45 and the top one is 33. 33 is most common when it comes to playing your record. Once in a while, you'll get a record and you're like, oh, this is 45. Okay, so here's the speaker part, and this was something I was super concerned about. I wanted to see behind the turntable, and I wanted to see what was going on. So here's red and white, left and right, and pretty simple to put it in there. And I actually bought a clear platter, but it wasn't compatible with this table, so I gotta return that. When it came to balancing the tone arm, I had a little trouble with it. So I just finished balancing it right now. I read about it online and I looked at it. Pretty much it needs to sit on the record and not float, but yet not press too hard. Okay, I'm gonna see how it sounds. Behind the turntable, you have your plug input right there. You also have your audio cables. Make sure you ground it to the screw. If you don't ground it to the screw, sometimes you can get some feedback or some buzzing happening. It almost sounds like static, so just be sure you ground that. Okay, next in the setup is I'm gonna set up my preamp. Now, most turntables will come with a preamp. Make sure you read the description of your turntable to see if it does or if it doesn't. And if it doesn't, you might need to have a preamp external. Now this one also has a USB output, so I could record them digitally if I wanted to, and some turntables do have that USB output. So I'm just going to connect my speakers to my preamp phono line in. So this is coming from the turntable to the preamp. From the preamp, basically it's adding more power to my audio, to the record player, to my receiver. Here's the power. And one thing you want to do is just make sure you ground it. This was really important because it'll give you some distortion or feedback. So you just unscrew it, screw it back in. So here you have a few things. You can put headphones if you want to listen to it. This turntable doesn't have a headphone jack, so that helps me with that. And this is gain. I can add more gain or take away gain if it was too loud. And this is phono line in. So when looking for the turntable, the thing I wanted was minimalistic. I wanted it to be pretty simple looking, but the most important element to me was the cartridge. I wanted to be able to replace it if it was broken or something had happened to it or damaged. I also wanted the ability to balance my tone arm if I needed to, and anti-skating was going to help with that. So this actually has a little weight that helps with the anti-skating. That means that the tone arm just doesn't flow left or right. And also there's different cartridges for different types of music. Jazz has one that might sound a little bit better to classical to jazz. And so I just wanted to open up the possibility of my listening turntable with something that I can change out. And when I buy something, I want to be able to manually adjust it how I want it to. So with cameras, I've always been that way. I want to manually change and adjust things how I want it to be. One thing when looking for a turntable was changing the speeds. Now I thought that it was going to be a big deal, but it's not that bad of a deal. So on the turntable, I can switch the band to 45, which is down below. Most turntables have a little switch on and off where you can change the speed from 33 to 45. This one, I didn't want a button. So I'm like, okay, I'll manually do it. And you know what? I thought it was gonna be a huge ordeal, but really it's as simple as taking off the plate and moving the band up. So just taking a look behind the receiver, you have your different channels to put your audio in there. And so these are all my video cables that I don't need, but if I wanted to put a monitor or TV, I could. So a comment I got was, instead of looking for a CD player, get a DVD player. This was about $30 on eBay. Here's what's happening behind here. I'm just using the audio, putting the audio out, and then I'm gonna connect it to my receiver. And comes with the remote, so it's fairly easy to move my tracks back and forth. So this was just a great idea. Thank you so much for giving me that hot tip. Okay, next I'm gonna test out my CD player, making sure I have everything connected correctly. Test out some Johnny Cash. So the receiver acts as a brain and basically connects all your audio equipment to one receiver, and you can better control it. There we go. Very nice, very cool to play my CDs again. Time to test out the turntable. Turn it on. I love how there's only one button to this. Put my needle on the record. If I want to, I can up the gain on this preamp. If I want it a little bit more power. Works great. Well, that's pretty much it when it comes to my setup. Now I can listen to my CDs, my records in my office. That has been my goal for a few months now. Now I'm just kind of adding little elements to the room and just making it very homey and inviting. And the funny thing is, I created this whole space for me, but you will find my whole family in this room hanging out. It is a great place to hang out, but that is the joy of music. It just draws people and it draws family together, and it's just so great to kind of gather around the record player. Let's listen to some records. So this is fun. Next thing is I want to look for some great speakers. Then I want to connect my computer. It's just really cool. Now that I have a receiver, I can pretty much do a lot of things with it. Great ideas. You guys are always there sharing ideas of how I can better enhance my listening station and just working on that stereo. It's just really cool. Well, if you want to follow me on Instagram, you can. I'm at Monty Muse. I look forward to getting to know you. I usually share what I'm listening to that week, the newest records, and then kind of at the end of the month, I put it all together in a video for you here. But if you want to know, hey, what's Monica listening to? Who does she recommend? Go on my Instagram. There is just a lot of great music. In my humble opinion, there's a lot of great music being shared on my Instagram page. Be sure to follow me, and I'll see you guys in the next episode. Bye, everyone.